Well, hello there, Philippine NARS listeners and followers. Welcome to another episode of Philippine NARS. And as you know, Philippine NARS is brought to you by the PNANV, or the Philippine Nurses Association of Nevada, in collaboration with PHLV Radio. I am Doris Bauer, your host, and thank you for joining us today. Well, we have a very interesting topic today, and it's all about brain health. Brain health involves maintaining cognitive function, reducing decline through lifestyle changes, and managing underlying conditions. Now, herbal supplements or remedies such as ginkgo biloba, ginseng, and lion's mane mushrooms to support cognitive health has been around. They've been around for a long time. They are supposed to improve cognitive functions like memory, focus, creativity, and motivation. But today, we invited three very knowledgeable people who can give us an updated insight on the changes happening for enhancing our brain health. So joining us today via Zoom from Reno, Nevada, and from El Paso, Texas, please let us welcome Mr. Raul Dagda, Mr. Ruben Dagda, and Dr. Victoria Squire. Welcome, everyone.
Hi there.
That's great. That's great. So thank you again for joining us. And I'm going to introduce you guys a little bit one by one, and I'm going to ask you if you have anything to add to that. So let's start with Mr. Raul Dagda. Mr. Raul Dagda is the CEO and co-founder of CNS Curative Technologies, right, Raul?
That is correct. Thank you.
Yes, and Raul has a background in neuroscience, master's in science, with a focus of pathology, molecular biology, and biochemistry, neurodegenerative diseases models in Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and dementia, and its affected brain protein kinases, I guess, for brain health. Kinases, right? And its strategic pharmacology for reversing neurodegenerative diseases in over 15 years. So welcome, Mr. Raul Dagda. Can you add anything to that?
Well, over the last 15 years, when I started working in academia labs in Reno, Nevada, I saw that where my passion is, and that is to understand how brain diseases, and more especially neurodegenerative diseases, are being caused, what are the main causes, and it's very complex. It's been very complex to study each one, such as Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and dementia. And we, along with Ruben Dagda in the Department of Pharmacology at the University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine, we have discovered, more because of Ruben Dagda, obviously, the certain kinases that maintain brain health. And we see how important it is to maintain these brain kinases, and so that it could be several of these brain diseases can be reversed if we raise the signaling of these brain kinases. And then we said to ourselves, well, there could be something that we can modulate the signaling and reverse these brain diseases pharmacologically. And that's where I started to dig more research of how can we make applicable science into translating it in a more practical terms into brain health for humans, and that has been my passion over 15 years, basically.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I know all about passion. All I know is nursing, so I can't do anything else. So, but thank you for that, Mr. Raul Dagda. And Mr. Ruben Dagda is the co-founder of CNS Curative Technologies, and he is an associate professor at the University of Nevada in Reno in the Department of Pharmacology, right? With a research focus on neuroscience, pharmacology, and toxicology. He has authored 70 peer-reviewed publications and has secured like a $3 million funding from the NIH, NSF, and several nonprofit organizations. And so this is your passion as well, right, Ruben?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Would you add
I
something
just
to
want to
that?
add
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, definitely. As Raul was saying, I'm one of the co-founders of CNS Curative Technologies. And before that, I'm an associate professor in the Department of Pharmacology at the University of Nevada, Reno. And I've been a neuroscientist for over 16 years. And my education and training started at the University of Iowa with doing my graduate studies in pharmacology, and before that at the University of Texas in El Paso doing a master's in immunology. I was studying rattlesnake venom back then.
Wow.
And how those rattlesnake venoms and toxins interact with different receptors, and how those neurotoxins can paralyze muscles and like the acetylcholine receptor. And so I became very interested in pharmacology. I was bored about toxicology and wanted to know more about the mechanism of drug action of the current drugs that are actually standard of care and how they activate certain receptors in the brain. And so I did my PhD at the University of Iowa for 7 years. And my mentor was Dr. Stefan Strack, and then moved to University of Pittsburgh for another 6-7 years of training as a postdoctoral associate under the tutelage of Dr. Charlene Shu, who is a neuropathologist and an eye doctor as well. And I learned everything about Parkinson's disease, and became enamored and passionate about Parkinson's disease, and finding translational opportunities to translate what I was studying, the signaling pathways in the brain, as Raul was mentioning, how to activate those pathways pharmacologically with different compounds to stimulate brain health and neuronal survival. And here we are, developing a company that's a spin-off from University of Nevada, Reno, and trying to bring our knowledge into practice, specifically developing new intranasal formulations to stimulate brain health and wellness.
Awesome. Well, the two of you are brothers, right? So you guys are doing such important work. So thank you for that. And our third guest is not we know her very well. Dr. Victoria Squire. She's a DNP, MSN, and an RN. She is part of our PNANV board of directors, and she's also an NNA district president of District 1, right, of the Nevada Nurses Association. And she's a nurse leader and educator, and soon to be a PMHNP. Now, for those of you who don't know that, it is a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, right, Dr. Victoria?
Yes. I will be completing my PMHNP program by this August. I'm very much interested in brain health and how it can be enhanced, especially in psychiatric practice. I came across Ruben and Raul at a conference and was very much interested in their product because, again, it does have a way to enhance even not just the patient population they were referring to as far as Alzheimer and dementia and the Parkinsonism. I'm very much interested in the neuroplasticity of brain health, and I, having read their white paper and understanding the mechanism of action, was very much inclined to think that it would be also helpful for brain cognition in other mental conditions such as ADHD and autistic spectrum disorder as well, which is an area that I'm looking to specialize in.
Very good. Well, thank you for that, Victoria. We applaud you. So, anyways, okay, let's start with the questioning. And these are mostly directed to Raul and Ruben, so you can tag team. Okay. So, can you tell us about your company, CNS Curative Technologies? How and why did you start the company? What is your mission and vision?
So CNS Curative Technologies is a company based in Reno, and it was founded about 4 years ago during the COVID time. During that time, me and Raul were thinking about, I think it's great that we're doing research in the laboratory, trying to understand the molecular mechanisms of how dopamine neurons and all these neurons die, and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, but we felt like, we wanted to contribute something more to the general population, specifically to the patient community, translating our knowledge into action. So we were studying different signaling pathways. Raul we discovered certain proteins called kinases in the brain that are very specific in the brain to activate survival pathways and neurotrophic signaling. And so we thought with the compounds that we discovered, we wanted to develop new formulations, intranasal formulations to bypass the blood-brain barrier that's in a way that's non-invasive, easy to use, hopefully increases patient compliance, and that we can combine different ingredients and stack those formulations that activate the same brain pathway we've been studying in different intranasal sprays. And so right now the company is offering several products, intranasal sprays, and we still doing research to help bring forth a therapeutic for Parkinson's. And so one of the products is patented, and the other one is commercially available as well, and they're both supported by trade secrets. But we want to offer a product that's easy to use, very convenient, economically makes sense, and that can achieve high compliance, especially in people with that are suffering cognitive decline, such as people with Alzheimer's disease or people with Parkinson's affected with dementia as well.
Right, right. Well, thanks for that, Raul. Ruben. Now, Raul, your company is focused on brain health research. Is there a reason behind this? Why have you focused on this clinical field?
So we started as a research, and that's what biotech companies, when they're funded, start with that vision. We have several pipelines of research that we test in academia. Now we can spin up and take it our own and do what we think is best, of brain health innovation. What happens, while the company evolved, we have learned several things. Okay, we started as a biotech. We go to the traditional FDA pathway of, I have this idea that we have a pipeline that works in the preclinical trials in higher animal model, rabbits and rats, and it seems to work to reverse Parkinson's disease and related cognitive decline-related disease in certain animals. And we say, we have a patent, we have a protocol to treat, we have a prototype that works, and we have the idea we need to keep developing. It may be raise funds to finish up the technology on track for FDA approval. That's what most people about the company have idea. But then we research more. How is the market evolving? Because there's such compounds, whether you call it experimental, or you call it right for trial, where you call it in research use, and it supplements and nutraceutics is very broad. Now, some of these compounds, what I learned is that they're not necessarily regulated. You follow certain rules. not to overstep regulations, and it's okay as being offered as a new proceedings. And I learned a lot of the regulation and said, why do we have to hold up the traditional FDA pathway when there's a big medical gap in neurodegenerative disease? Because standard of care hasn't been able to close that gap.
Right.
And it's a terminal disease, and they don't do much to disease modify. Maybe we can treat this as a supplement and somehow finish development of the technology, and maybe we can immediately somehow launch to market because there's a big medical necessity. So going from biotech into also having these pipelines commercialized, very convenient and as soon very over the counter, was a great leap, a great jump. And it's been this prototype has been working somehow. We have about 2.5 years, or almost 3 years, commercially, having them commercially in e-commerce and several forms of commerce, just to expand access immediately as a supplement.
Well, very good. We're going to talk about those one thing at a time. So I know that there has been a paradigm shift from what do you call this, cognitive decline and dementia, and it's going from symptomatic management and alleviation to neurotrophic enhancers. We need to clear this up with the audience. Can you explain this shift? Can you explain the paradigm shift between, of changing the way we are enhancing our brain right now, going from a symptomatic management to alleviation?
Well, yes. So like I said, one of these things we have learned and motivated to brain health innovation, and that's one of our moral obligations. We have to innovate. We have learned and that standard of care basically over the decades, and I'm not going to go much into detail, just the general idea. Standard of care, what it does really is more into cognitive decline, whether it's Alzheimer's disease or cognitive decline in Parkinson, or Lewy body dementia, Parkinson. The idea has been the same over the last decade. They say they have been designing even advanced drugs where it's just the symptom management of cognitive decline. What do I mean by that? If there's a temporary relief of increasing neurotransmission within the brain where it lacks, and increase some of the performance for cognitive enhancement, but it's a temporary relief, and they relapse, and they have to readjust, change medication, and most of this medication is based on the same mechanism of action. For example, Ritalin increases dopamine, just dopaminergic transmission within the frontal cortex for ADHD or Parkinson's disease cognitive decline. But what happens? It just increases performance to alleviate symptoms, but the underlying problem of neurodegeneration is still there. The disease is going to still be progressive. Cholinergic cholinesterase, cholinergic inhibitors, they increase acetylcholine in dementia, Alzheimer's patients, but they're great symptomatic management medication, but in the end, the disease progresses, the protein aggregates accumulate beta amyloid, and that's one of the main pathologies that they cannot even stop or slow down. But it's been practically the same, increased neurotransmission viability, and it's just a temporary effect, whether it's dopamine, acetylcholine, or some other, even serotonin, just to reduce anxiety and cognitive decline, but doesn't really solve the problem.
Okay. I mean, there is definitely, like you said, a medical gap in the standard of care. So it's time to change that, and you are helping to do that. And so, but there are several abbreviations and terms that keep coming up. You know, when you Google all of these brain enhancers, one of them is SRRI. What is SRRI? Victoria, you can tag team on this if you like. The other one is, okay, I want you to explain what SRRI is, what is DRRI, and what are neurotrophic enhancers?
I can answer that question. So SRRIs are serotonin receptor reuptake inhibitors, along with the RRIs, dopamine receptor reuptake inhibitors.
Okay.
And they're mostly used as antidepressants to regulate the levels or normalize the baseline levels of serotonin and dopamine. So whether you're looking at Parkinson's disease people, you take those in dopamine receptor transporter inhibitors to normalize the level of dopamine to help someone with Parkinson's move, or someone with major depression, clinical depression, take SRRIs to normalize the level of serotonin, or people with addictions, taking street drugs, they deplete their neurotransmitters, and they take those to kind of replenish those drugs. But as Raul was saying, some of those drugs are synthetic. They're not organic or natural, and they do have their limitations with a lot of symptoms that come up with the long-term use of those drugs, especially after more than 2 years of taking them. We know they can cause suicidal thoughts, ideation, and more psychosis and hallucinations. So what Raul was mentioning is that what we want to do is complement standard of care. We're not saying not to do that, not to take the standard of care. I think those drugs have been vetted and approved by the FDA with lots of extensive clinical studies. But what we found out, because based on testimonials, is that people think, and anyone can buy those products because they're offered as supplements. They've been taking it with their standard of care, whether they're taking memantine or donepezil for Alzheimer's. They've been taking these compounds. They don't seem to cause any interactions, and they actually, we want them to, stay on their standard of care. And using those compounds, they're organic. You can dose yourself as many times without any potential side effects because they're organic products, whether it's forskolin, Nopept, kinetin, which are our pipeline of products. Those are, you can dose yourself without having any serious effects, and you can take it with your standard of care. The only maybe potential, we can cause side effects that people sneeze when they take, intranasally, because even though it's non-invasive, it may be a little discomfort putting something into your nostrils and spraying hard. Some people have a tendency to sneeze or have a little irritation on their nasal passages, but other than that, it's very friendly. So that's, whether you're taking SRRIs or some of those other synthetic compounds, which are costly, but covered by health insurance, our product are low cost, easy to use, and non-invasive. And they seem to be complemented well with center of care.
Okay, very good. So what is DRRI?
Was the dopamine receptor reuptake inhibitors. And so there's many of those compounds, and some used for fluorescent imaging to see how much of the dopamine receptor there is by brain scans. But just like SRRIs, those are synthetic compounds.
Dopamine. Okay. All right. So, and then the last thing is, what is a nootropic?
Roy, you want to take that?
I can answer that, of course. So we came up with that term because, so we already explain the problem with
Right, right.
standard of care. What is the real problem? Why disease progresses anyway? Neurodegeneration disease, cognitive decline, neurodegenerative disease.
Mm-hmm.
What happens, and we studied this for over 15 years, and we answer a lot of hypotheticals. We publish papers, and we discover that over more than 15 years that cognitive decline, whether it is the Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease, Lewy body, or even frontotemporal dementia, the pathology manifests different. But what is the main problem that maybe standard of care hasn't been able to solve? And is that neurotropic signaling is low, no matter what whether it doesn't matter which one of the neurodegenerative diseases I'm talking about that causes cognitive decline. And there's an overlap of I don't know if it's the main key, but it has worked for us. It's one of the main key factors that causing neurodegeneration and all these protein aggregates. So neurotropic signaling is a signal that basically it's like the brain hormone. It's a type of brain signaling, like a brain hormone that tells the neuron to act, do something. Either it's a signaling telling to grow more, to maintain brain health. Neuroplasticity, like Dr. Victoria said, is one of those mechanisms that naturally, when you're learning, fast learning, the neuron have to adapt to grow more, right? For it to long-term memory potentiation or short-term or working memory to function. So we basically understand the signaling that are low, and we need to raise it. And this brain plasticity mechanism that bring a lot of advantage. What is the main benefits to raise neurotropic factors such as BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, nerve growth factor, and now cyclic AMP is considered as a neurotropic signaling, and they make neurons grow. They make neurons have more connection in between. So the process of information, the higher networking make processing of information less painful, more efficient, with less energy and more output. That's how we explain it.
Okay.
That's how cognitive function will come into play if we have this homeostasis. We need to raise brain signaling, which are neurotropic signaling that make the neurons act to grow, adapt more to higher cognitive performance. That's basically a practical way to explain, I hope.
Yeah. Well, you guys are, up there on the level of intelligence and verbiage. So we're trying to make more of the lay people understand. So I appreciate that, though. And so your company has a product. It's a nootropic product called Neuroclimax, right? And so let's talk about that. What is Neuroclimax? How does it work? What are its benefits? And how will it help Parkinson's and Alzheimer's? I think we have I prepared some things that we can put up on screen about this product. So who wants to take that on? Raul? Or?
I'll explain. I'll do it. So Neuroclimax, it just alludes to having peak wellness, brain wellness condition. And so what this is a formulation that consists of several active ingredients. One of them is forskolin, which is an active ingredient that's derived from the Soleus forskolai plant, Southeast Asian plant. It's one of the main ingredients. And as Raul was mentioning, it activates this specific pathway, cyclic AMP signaling. And then another compound called NOPEP, which is a dipeptide made of 2 amino acids linked together. But this compound activates synaptic plasticity by binding to very specific receptors in the brain. And so by activating those pathways, as Raul was mentioning, we increase what we call neurotrophic signaling. And he mentioned brain-derived neurotrophic factors, which is one of those peptides in the brain that's very low in Alzheimer's disease and also in Parkinson's disease, but also in healthy individuals or people who are within their late stage geriatric population. They have some low levels of brain-derived neurotrophic signaling. So basically, by activating these pathways, we increase the levels of BDNF, nerve growth factor, because there's nerve growth factor in the brain, NGF, and other neurotrophic signaling by activating these pathways and also activating some receptors involved in synaptic plasticity. So Neuroclimax has those two active ingredients and it has some other non-active ingredients, but the main proprietary formulation is actually optimized to bypass the blood-brain barrier, which is a barrier that prevents a lot of small molecules and drugs from crossing into the brain, which to reach the brain target, we developed this formulation that's been actually tested in animals and also has causes some benefits in people who have been taking it. And so it's optimized for increased bioavailability, which is a term means that how much of the compound goes into your bloodstream and into the brain. So we have seen high bioavailability of using when we developed the prototype for Neuroclimax. So it's enhanced for penetrating the brain, activating the signaling pathways in a non-invasive way. And it's a special spray and contained with a 10 milliliters bottle. It's small. It's contained with its own traveling package, a plastic container, cylindrical container, and it's actually designed to be low cost and efficient for patients to increase their compliance. And as I was mentioning, it can be complemented with their standard of care. So I mentioned it's a supplement meant for everyone to use.
Right.
And we've seen people, elderly, take it, some young people take it, but overall, we have some surveys data showing that it helps to increase what we call productivity and brain capacity using our surveys. And people have, I think, over 70% of people who have used it have reported 90% of people have reported one benefit, and 70% of people have reported at least two benefits, and 50% of people have reported three benefits. So everyone gains something with the product, whether it's better sleep. You can take it in the morning or at night, since it's meant to regulate dopamine signaling. Also, it helps you with the sleep-wake cycle. It helps to reduce anxiety, improve mood, and also increase focus and brain capacity. But it's not the same type of focus that you get by drinking coffee, which can make you jittery and use a lot of energy. This signaling pathway can actually replenish some of the energy by producing more of ATP in the neurons by actually activating the energy centers called mitochondria. So I think there's something for everyone. Again, this is not a therapeutic, so we want to be careful because it's not FDA approved, but it's a nutraceutical supplement that's meant for anyone who wants to gain some kind of benefit, whether it's increased brain wellness or increase focus. We have some data to support some of the benefits that people have experienced using our product performance surveys.
Very good. Well, thank you for explaining that. I think while you were talking, we had some showed some things on the screen about Neuroclimax. So, Dr. Squire, you had told me that you had personally benefited from CNS's Curative Brain Health Supplement. Can you share that experience?
Yes. So when I started using it, my intent was actually I've been suffering from some brain fog, and I would call it residual from the COVID pandemic. I've not been the same since then. I contracted COVID about 2-3 times, and having worked in that environment as well when I was in the hospital, and I was in leadership, so I had a lot of stressors involved in just the environment alone, to the point where when we would call it brain fog or
Yeah.
some type of decline in your focus, it's real. I felt it during the time, which also, had me to take some time off from that environment and recover from it because I believe, and from what I've learned, is that the more you expose yourself to that amount of stress, that it doesn't improve matters, and it makes it that much harder to recover. So in that time that I was uh, really trying to, do the self-care and rest my brain, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I still felt the effects of that stress. And
Right.
over time, it started to impact the way my focus in even just my regular day-to-day functioning. When we talk about brain fog, and perhaps there may be some uh, effects of my own aging
Mm-hmm.
and the things that you experience as a woman. And so I think having tried this product, and I've been taking it now for, I would say, about a month, and I can sense the change as well. It's pretty significant because, again, I do sleep better, as they mentioned. I do also feel that I'm a lot more focused and productive than I was even just, we mentioned drinking coffee or all the
Mm-hmm.
other
Mm-hmm.
enhancements that we try to make ourselves, more alert. This sensation that I'm feeling now is more like I'm coming back to myself, where in those years pre-COVID, I am pretty sharp and alert, and I have a really good memory, and I can, pick up quickly in my learning abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm starting to feel more like myself again versus how I was feeling during that period of time of severe brain fog to now
Yeah.
where I'm coming out of it, but not as quickly as I am now, having tried the enhancements.
Oh, that's good to know. That your problem is real, and it has affected a lot of what do you call this, nurses or even other practitioners, medical practitioners. For me, it's just getting old, so but I probably need to try it. But joking aside, CNS Curative has outlined a proposed solution for advanced nurse practitioners in psychiatry and geriatrics and family practice, in hopefully trying this product in order to help them. How will it work? And you can, I mean, Victoria, you can answer that. I know you're gunning for the PMH NP side. How will you think that would help you, help your practice and also the patients?
Yes, I'm very much a proponent to adjunctive therapies, and again, when you're dealing with even just a younger population, ideally you don't want to just go straight for the medications. We do want
Mm-hmm.
to enhance the cognitive behavioral therapies and really maximize the non-pharmacological avenues before really seeing and making a diagnosis, especially when it comes to ADHD and mood disorders. We don't want to jump to uh, diagnosing that till over time when, as
Mm-hmm.
DSM criteria are met. You want to also supplement and address maybe nutritional needs or other
Right.
factors in comorbidities, such as even like thyroid, and rule out. So before we go those routes, I really want to treat this holistically. And I found
Yes.
this
Yes.
supplement to be really, I'm very much excited about having experienced it personally and now want to promote it because of that holistic factor of using organic products and addressing nutritionally and supplementing things that could really benefit our patients more
Yes.
so.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning. That was going to be my next question to you. Is I know you want to approach this from a holistic standpoint, which will also eventually affect mental health. Correct?
Yes, yes. And again, having learned more from Raul and Ruben as well, that, again, it does align with how our brain works and plasticity. And as we continue to, address our mental health and wellness, those, those behaviors that we, again, it goes along with cognitive restructuring. Right? So we are treating patients in the realm of mental illness and mental health. We do a lot of cognitive behavioral therapies, which again is to enhance their ability to have better coping mechanisms and coping skills, and that comes with neuroplasticity. And again, these supplements enhance that ability.
Very good, very good. Well, thanks for that, Victoria. For Raul and Ruben, how can one get your products, especially Neuroclimax?
Raul, go ahead.
So when we launch our pipeline products into e-commerce, fully developed and available for customers in general, we put them as it is as an over-the-counter intranasal formulation spray. We have two variants, one for brain metabolic enhancer and another one more, and it does neuroplasticity, and the other one is for neuroplasticity and some of the brain metabolism. These are available in e-commerce, and it doesn't necessarily require a prescription. It's very friendly, very flexible, and it doesn't necessarily break your bank. But I think patients or customers are willing more to have this brain capacity, brain plasticity, as Victoria said. So it's in e-commerce, just like we learned how brain peptides are distributed by e-commerce. Now, these are certified, third-party certified safety, and we have potency tests, and it's safe. And what we're doing right now to make it more available is that we are affiliating, especially with advanced nurses like Victoria, Dr. Victoria, and it is very easy to implement it in her clinic or anyone else who is interested to provide more access and supervision. It doesn't hurt. I think it's better to have supervision, or anyone can buy an e-commerce, but it's better not for safety, but for more improvement guarantees for someone who is clinician and monitor every month, every 2 months, or whatever, how as it develops, and they can have diagnosed, of course, and see what's proper. I'm not saying this is indicated to treat diseases, but they know what's best in the protocol. They can do biomarker. We have discussed that also, and there's a lot of what we can do with affiliating with clinicians, such as the advanced nurses. So either they can go to the wellness clinics or holistic clinics, or these nurses that are interested in implementing in their protocol, like psychiatry, as Victoria is doing, or any other type of geriatric, any other kind of protocol that can complement standard of care.
Very good.
It's available on Shopify and also on the main page, cnscurative.com. Those are the only two sources right now of e-commerce. And we're trying to expand through Amazon and Walmart, but that may take a little time, but we're trying to expand.
That's very good. That's good to know. And you just told me about my next question, which is your company website is
cnscurative.com.
Right? And this is
Yes.
where, you can get
Correct.
more information about what CNS Curative is doing, as well as your products, correct?
Yes, correct.
So
Okay.
the dot store website is more you enter, you already know what you want. You have research in cns.curated.com and more readily available in the dot store website.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. So, wrapping this up, what is your message to the patients or people regarding brain health? Let's start with you, Raul.
I think what we have learned, and that's our main purpose. By brain health innovating, we need to get much better alternatives than what there is. Uh, what I mean is that standard of care is not addressing the really underlying problem of what neurodegenerates from what they're being afflicted with neurodegenerative disease, a progressive disease with not many solutions in it except managing symptoms. But they need to know more about, be aware that there are better alternatives. For example, what happens to family members that put their loved ones into senior care and they say that's it because we're exhausted and we just let them, be comfortable while the disease progresses. It doesn't have to be that way. Now, we're not saying that they're going to be like totally normal, but the fact that there's advanced technology that can do some type of reversal by doing this brain plasticity mechanism enhancement and cognitive enhancement. Like, let's say if they're in memory care, they could probably regain some independence by increasing their cognitive abilities, and that a lot of gain already, even if they still have to be in senior care. But it's just about improving quality of life.
Right, right.
If we can disease modify, if we're allowed to say that, that's practically what we aim to do: disease modify the underlying cause of this neurodegenerative disease and improve quality of life of customers and patients.
Okay, very good. Ruben, you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, it's just a small pitch. So
Yeah.
basically, I'm a holistic kind of person too. And so I encourage everyone to explore, as Raul was mentioning, organic products and supplements, especially the intranasal ones that we're offering, but also take time to do some self-care and take time to do exercise. Exercise has been proven to actually improve symptoms of Parkinson's and also cognitive decline. So having a holistic approach to having you seek out the best care, standard care, and supplements, and also combine that with exercise. Also reach out and to your network and network support group as well. So I think a holistic view because is the best approach because most pharmaceutical companies they think they have the magic bullet, but I think a polypharmaceutical approach with social behavioral support as well as exercise might be the best way to attack, as Raul always mentioned, neurodegeneration and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and also cognitive decline.
Okay. And Victoria, what's your message? We can't hear you. Are you on mute? You're on mute, I think. There you go. We can hear you now.
My mouth moving, right? So I do want to second what they are both saying because the achieved outcome in approaching things holistically, I think has more sustainability. I do believe in this product because of the fact that it is enhancing whatever is already in place, but to do it in a manner that's natural and as well as the ability to slow some of those processes that could harm your your optimal wellness. I do want to say that having the early part of this research and understanding that it is a supplement is a piece that I'm very much happy about hearing, because
Yes.
again, it is accessible, and it there's something for everyone there, even though the focus would be for neurocognitive decline. I do believe that in brain plasticity, an organic approach is ideal. And again, diet, exercise, the
Yeah,
holistic
the
approach.
holistic approach. Yeah. So, well, I think those messages that you have sent out are reverberates to the healthcare providers as well, correct? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think as a fellow colleague, yeah, to promote this would be aligned with our goals for our patients, as well as it is to enhance their wellness. And I think we could see in not just one or two patient populations. I think it could really benefit a variety as well. And that's what the message is for us to put out there.
Yes. Well, thank you for that, Victoria. And for Raul and Ruben, I know you are in the research world and you are doing great for the patients. What is your last? Do you have any last words to say to our patients and to our healthcare providers? Healthcare providers. You did the patients already.
Well, I believe in brain health innovation. I think that it was a great jump, and we have some of the track being reported in our website with already clinicians on board that have adopted this in their protocol, and they were like Victoria said, not only was primarily designed for Parkinson, but one of them saying I have a broader vision that is for more customer segmentation, and in fact, it worked in several other similar diseases, basic ganglia disease, and similar diseases. So, what I think the message is that the main solution, our breakthrough is there, and we're not going to stop improving more, and by doing that, we have to build up alliances with clinics, and we don't compete with big pharma. I don't believe in competition other than alliances. How can we complement? How can we improve healthcare? How can we improve, improve protocol with clinicians, work together, and build up alliances? Because our main values is fundamentally based out of serve the best patient's interests.
Right.
Right. That's more important value we have in this company, and build up alliances and keep improving for more access, for better healthcare, and that's our main goals in our company.
Thank you, and I applaud you for that. Any last words, Ruben?
Yeah, I think as a scientist, neuroscientist who has been working in the lab for quite some time, I'm excited to do some community outreach, and I see the big gap in between physicians, clinical clinicians, and other practitioners and scientists that don't communicate that well, and so we need to bridge that communication. We have to be aligned in terms of education, and I know physicians are busy and nurses, and they don't have the opportunity to go to conferences. So I see this as an opportunity to broaden our education to everyone. And so we can broaden our education and share some resources and information. I think it's going to go a long way in terms of therapeutics, and also treating cognitive decline and this other diseases. So I'm a strong advocate for that all the way.
Well, thank you so much. Well, again, thank you so much, Mr. Raul Dagda, Mr. Ruben Dagda, and Dr. Victoria Squire for joining us today. This is exciting. There's a lot going on in this field which cannot be covered in one podcast. So we hope that you can come back again, to give us some updates, on an upcoming program. Is that okay?
Yeah, we'll love to, of course.
Thanks for the invitation. This is not the first one. We will continue doing this series, Brain Health series.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
absolutely. That's great. Well, thank you very much again for coming to the program, and thank you for all the work that you do. But we do have to mention our disclaimer. The information that was discussed and provided in this podcast does not constitute a medical advice from the PNANV or PHLV radio. So please use your discretion when making your medical decisions and always seek the advice of your medical providers. And to our listeners and followers, we leave you with this. According to the National Institutes of Health, the paradigm shift in cognitive decline and dementia has moved from a fatalistic view of inevitable, untreatable aging to a proactive approach focused on early detection, prevention, and lifestyle intervention. The shift emphasizes multimodal risk management, cognitive research, and also treating dementia as a lifelong preventable process rather than just for a late-stage disease. For the last 10 years or so, geriatric medicine and public health have been insisted on shifting attention from merely the biological to medical and social determinants of aging and its related ailments. So there's a lot happening in this field, and there may have been a lot of changes with enhancing brain health. So please be vigilant and do your own research. So thank you very much for joining us today. Please be well and be safe. Until next time, this is Doris Bauer, your Philippine Nurse host, signing off for now.